Hey all, it's Jess and welcome back to Sunflower Dairy. I am out in the greenhouse today and I want to start a few seeds for greens and microgreens, that kind of thing. Alright, so basically I'm just starting a bunch of different greens, gonna do some microgreens, and we're gonna go ahead and get those started. So when starting these microgreens, I'm just gonna be starting them in a tray, and I'm going to be just putting soil in here in a layer. Then I'm gonna be sprinkling seeds on top because I'm gonna be doing kind of like a microgreen method. So basically we're going to be growing in a seed tray for greens that are all grown together, so we can just snip them and use them as we need to. So a lot of these things are cold hardy, so I definitely could be starting them out in the greenhouse, but the days are still very short, and plants actually need a certain amount of daylight to germinate. So I'm actually going to be taking my tray inside and putting them under grow lights just until they germinate. Then we can bring them out into the greenhouse because all of these things are cold hardy. We can have them grow out here. We're just going to give them a jump start inside with the grow lights so that we can get them to grow a little bit faster. Alright, so we have our tray here. We're just going to be putting a nice even layer of seed starting mix right here on the bottom of this. Now this is an open cell tray, so no cells in here because we're just kind of doing a open kind of microgreen method. So we're just filling this up with dirt real quick. Alright, after you have trained your soil, the next thing you're going to do is just mist it. Our seed starting mix all prepped and ready. You want to make sure you have enough moisture in your seed starting mix so that your seeds can germinate. You don't want them too soaked because seeds can actually start rotting if they're too wet, but you do not want your seeds to dry out because that is a important part of germinating. Alright, so the kind of greens or microgreens I'm going to be planting is we have kale, spinach, lettuce, all of that kind of things, arugula. So pretty much cold hardy things and greens that you're going to be using on a daily basis. Alright, just throwing quite a few different kinds of greens in here. These are kale seeds. We're just putting a few of those in here. Some different kinds of lettuces. Sprinkling those around. Just a little bit of arugula. Not too much arugula, I find goes kind of crazy. So I'm going to be putting in a few different kinds of spinach varieties in here. Alright, now that we have our seeds all planted in here, we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle some more seed starting soil on here. We're not going to plant these too deep because a lot of these are just little tiny green seeds and you don't really need to plant those too deeply, especially when seeds are very small. Also, some of them need a little bit of light to germinate, so you don't want to be planting seeds more than probably twice the size of the seed because that's going to be just way too deep, and seeds only have so much energy and they're going to run out of energy if you plant them way too deep to reach the top of the soil, because plants, once they emerge from their seed cell, they only have a little bit amount of time to reach the surface to start getting sunlight to actually start growing properly. Okay, so now that we have those covered, we're just going to go ahead and mist these in a little bit. So this seed tray does not have holes in the bottom of it, so like I said, you have to be really careful that you're not watering too much because you do not want your seeds to I need more water. You don't want your seeds to get so saturated that they start rotting, especially because this does not have any holes in it, so you just want this moist enough to keep some moisture so that these can germinate. Alright, just wanted to talk about a couple more things. If you wanted to just grow a tray of greens in your house with a grow light and you didn't have a greenhouse, that's perfectly fine. You just want to make sure that you have a good grow light. And if your plants start getting too big, you want to start putting them, you know, in different separate trays that have a lot more room for them to start growing. Unless you're going to be doing like little tiny microgreens that you're going to be cutting all the time, like, you know, every other day or so, then you can, you know, just keep doing cut and come again greens like that. So if you wanted to grow some greens over the winter just to have them in your home to use, on a day-to-day basis, you know, that is a good thing to do. Alright, so now that I have these all planted, now what you could do if you were doing multiple different trays that had all different multiple kinds of things that were separate, you could go ahead and label your trays, but I'm just doing this as a variety of greens, so I'm not going to be worrying about that. But I am going to take this in and get this set up with a good grow light system. Alright, we have our tray inside. I am going to be getting a grow light set up near a growing station, and I am going to be talking about different ways that you can hang grow lights. So you could have a rack, a seed starting rack, where it has different tiers where you could hang different grow lights above the different racks, or you can hang your lights directly from the ceiling. You just want to make sure that your lights are low enough above the tray so that your plants aren't reaching towards the light and getting leggy. So that is main things to think about, making sure that your light isn't too far away and making sure you have enough light. If you have tons of trays, you don't want to have just one little light above tons of trays. You want to have multiple different lights above multiple different trays, because like I said, if your lights are too far away, then your plants are just going to be getting leggy, and that's not going to be good for you or the plants. So making sure that you have a good grow light is good to do. You want to make sure that, you know, it is powerful and that your plants aren't going to be struggling, because if you don't have a good enough light source for your plants, they're not going to be doing very well. So there's several different places that you can get good grow lights. There's different garden centers, or you can go online. I've heard of people getting them from Amazon and all different places. So making sure that you get good grow lights is the main thing. I'm going to be getting my grow lights and everything set up, but I'm going to be keeping you all updated as these keep growing. Alright all, thank you for coming along and planting microgreens with me. I hope that you learned a little bit of something today. Alright all, thanks for watching and have a blessed day.